Hello once again, and thank you for joining me. We're in part 2 of the offer series within the home buying process series. So once again, thank you for joining me, and hopefully you kind of learn some tips and tricks and some know-how to help you purchase your dream home. So let's get right into it. So we only finished up about 2 pages of the 8-page purchase agreement in the last video, so we'll go on. So this is the top of page 3, and we're going to be talking about possession. So going into looking at homes to view, sellers usually put on the listing kind of what they're thinking as far as possession. So are they able to give possession at closing, so everybody signs and you get the keys? So obviously vacant properties, that's what happens most of the time. If somebody's actively living in the home, they may request some days after closing in order to move out. And what I would consider normal is up to 30 days, and most of the time I see probably 14 or 15 or something like that. And it's just another negotiating point between the buyer and seller. So if you're in a situation and you need to move out of your current situation by X date, you can say, look, I would love to purchase your home, but I need possession on this date. And they could be in the same boat. Hey, we really want to sell our house, but our next move has to be on or after this date. And so it's just negotiating is all it is. And as long as they like the price and everything else, we'll negotiate that possession as well. So, and there are some other things in here that we'll go over, but it's so ultra specific to the home and your situation. That's basically the basic information for possession. But the next section is going over surveys. So you can make this whole buying decision based upon a survey. So if you're worried about where the survey lines are and things like that, you can say, hey, one of my other contingencies, other than inspections and all this other stuff, is going to be a survey. So I want that to be performed. I want to have time to review it to make sure I know exactly what I'm buying. And we will signify here, okay, what kind of survey do we want, who's going to order it, who's going to purchase it, and how many days do we have to look over that as well. So I would say there's not a lot that I see that do order surveys. Usually in town, survey lines are, you can pull an overhead map, you can pull the county map. It's not going to be 100% correct all the time. So you can't, go to the neighbor and say, I think your rose bush is on my side because look at this map on my phone. Don't do that. The map on your phone will just get you basically within 5 or 10 feet. It's not a survey, it's just a map, okay? If you're worried about it, then you can go get a survey, or you can make, again, the whole thing contingent upon the survey. If you choose to do that, be prepared. An in-town lot, $700 or $800 maybe, and surveyors are pretty busy these days, so it may put our timeline out a couple more weeks. And then if you're buying a home in the country, it's going to be more. Basically, the bigger, more detailed the parcel, the more expensive it's going to be. So we're getting into the insurance portion, and so the big factor with insurance is if the home is located within a floodplain or not. And floodplain maps change all the time. And so I won't say all the time, every few years, okay? It seems like all the time, but every few years. And so if the property is in a floodplain and you're getting a mortgage on it, the lender will force you to purchase flood insurance. And flood insurance is usually not very cheap. So it can make or break a deal sometimes, depending on that extra cost. So you're going to pay for your homeowner's insurance, and then you got to pay for extra insurance, whether it floods or not. It doesn't matter. So my personal story was we purchased a home. We actually closed on it Valentine's Day. It was February 14th. And nobody knew at that time that, what was it, March or April, the new flood maps came out. And lo and behold, we're in a flood zone. Congratulations. If you have a mortgage on it, you got to pay it. We went through a process to get it out of the flood zone, which we can talk about later. Basically, it costs time and money. And not everybody's successful in doing that, but thankfully we were. So, but it's a big deal when you go to purchase it, and then if you go to resell it later if it's in a flood zone. So we will check that to the best of our ability, and then when you go to call about your homeowner's insurance, which we'll put a time stamp on, basically, they will also investigate that. And we've had surprises before to where the maps that I've seen, from what I know about the area, I was assuming, it's a dangerous thing to do, that it was not in a flood zone, and then lo and behold, the insurance check came back, not check as in dollars, but the insurance review comes back and says, oh, did you know this was in a flood zone? No, we didn't, and then we have to make the decision to continue with the purchase or not. So kind of a big deal. It's a big financial situation. So something new this year, so our forms change every year, and something new this year is that they want to know what you're using the purchase for the home for. So is it going to be a residential, or are you going to use it for a business or something like it, or like a rental? And so this paperwork will let the seller know what your kind of plans are. So I'm not exactly sure why they changed that, but they did. So we have to mark what our intended use is. There's a section here talking about environmental contaminants. And so me as your agent, and everybody in this process, we are not environmental agents. So we would not be able to advise you in anything kind of like biologically wrong with the property. My main question I get sometimes, like, oh, what kind of mold is that? It's like, well, I haven't had that training. I have no idea if it is mold, what kind it is, if it's safe, if it's dangerous. I have no idea. So that's kind of the advisory release for us to say that we're not qualified to tell you, and I'm not going to venture out and say, oh, no, that's fine, and it could be the worst kind. I don't want to misrepresent anything. And so possibly the biggest contingency for you as the buyer is coming up here on page 4 is the inspection. So hey, real quick, I found myself when I was editing this video that I went on and on about inspections for quite a bit, and rightfully so. It's a big issue. So what I'm going to do is kind of fast forward through this and then create another video specifically for inspections, just so we can get this offer type, this mini offer series within the buying process series finished up. But look for that link. It'll just say inspections, and we can go kind of in detail for those. So thanks for hanging in there.
We know your time is valuable. Thank you for holding. Someone will be with you as soon as possible.
So the bottom of page 4 is going over a home warranty. So do you want a home warranty or not? What a home warranty is, it's different than your homeowner's insurance. Your homeowner's insurance, if the tree falls on the house, you pay a deductible, they come fix the house. Done. Home warranty works in a little different way. So let's say your furnace stops working. You have already paid your home warranty for the year. It's going to be between $500 and $600 depending on the level. And so your furnace kicks out, you call this company and say, hey, this is what's happened. They send one of their own contractors out. You can't choose them. Okay, so if your uncle does heating and air, he can't come out and fix it and you bill somebody else for it. But they send their own contractor out, you pay a trip charge, and everyone's a little bit different. $75, $100, whatever. And they come get it working for you. Okay, so that's the gist of it. And some, they do cover appliances. You can pay more and cover like a pool or something like that. But in the offer right here, we could just say yes or no, we want one. Who's going to order it? Who's going to pay for it? And how much is it going to be? Okay. So for the most part, I say during the offer process, there are different situations, but a lot of times I say let's just bypass that for now. Let's take a look at the inspections, and if it would make you more comfortable after that, we can try to negotiate that after inspections. But it's your call, whatever you're comfortable with. if what I found a lot of people do is that they know somebody, they know a personal friend, a family member that works on whatever. I just mentioned heating and air, or they have a plumber in the family, and so if you don't want some random plumber coming in that you don't know how they work and things like that, and you want somebody you've already had experience with, maybe a home warranty is not for you, but that's totally up to you. So yeah, we're approaching another 20-minute cycle here. So that would be it for this little episode. So again, that was ranging from possession to insurance to inspections. So I appreciate you tuning in, and we will pick this up momentarily with moving on in the offer process. So I appreciate it. Thanks.